Well, welcome to Integrated Math 1. I am Mr. Wixer, and I look forward to meeting you in a couple days. We will definitely spend some time getting to know each other once I first see you in person. But until then, I figured we would get started with a little bit of math. At least the material we're going to deal with in the beginning should be a review of math that you saw in middle school, but it's math that's going to be particularly important as we go throughout this year. Please make sure you are taking notes on all of this stuff. If you have a printer at home, please print out the template from Google Classroom, the one that I'm showing you right now, and fill things in. If you don't have a printer, no worries. You're just going to take notes on a separate sheet of paper, but please make sure you are taking notes because at the end of class today, you will need to submit a photo of your notes to Google Classroom so I can give you your participation credit for the day. Let me see, what else can I tell you? Since you're not in front of me right now, I have a tough time knowing if I'm going too fast when I speak. So if you find that the notes are going too fast, please pause the video and get caught up on things before moving on. And I will definitely try to adjust this as we go throughout the semester. Finally, you should be watching this video through Edpuzzle, which will stop the video in certain places and will ask you some questions. Please answer those questions. That's sort of my way of knowing if you're understanding what we're doing. And answering the questions will also count towards your participation grade for today. If you get some of the questions wrong, it's no big deal. You'll still get full credit for your participation. But again, this is just sort of my chance to see if you're following it, if you know what we're doing. So, we are going to start our first unit of this course, which is an introduction to algebra. And we're going to do the first page of notes in section 1.1, and we're going to talk about order of operations. And the acronym we use for order of operations that I'm sure you remember from last year is PEMDAS. But I have kind of a funny way of writing PEMDAS. I'm going to write a P, and then an E, and then an M, and a D, and I'm going to put the M and the D on the same line. We'll talk about why in a little bit. And then an A and an S, and I'm going to write those on the same line as well. Okay, first question for you. Do you remember what the P stands for? Well, P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. What we're getting at is the order in which we need to do a complicated looking math problem. And the P, the parentheses, will always need to be the first thing we do. Before anything else, we need to do the problem in the parentheses. E stands for exponents. We are not really going to bother worrying about these right now. We're going to get into exponents a lot later in the year. So I'm going to include it because it makes that acronym PEMDAS, but we're not really going to see a lot of these in problems till much later in the year. Okay, next question for you. What do the M and the D stand for? Well, hopefully you came up with multiplication and division. The M stands for multiplication. The D stands for division. Now a tricky question for you, but I guess I can kind of ask in two different ways. Which comes first when I see it? Should I do the multiplication first, or the division first, or does it not work that way? And I do have a little bit of a hint. I wrote the M and the D on the same line. Why are they on the same line? Does multiplication happen first? Does division happen first? Or is it something different? Well, the way multiplication and division work is when I have multiplication and division problems, I do them in order from left to right. That's why I wrote M and D on the same line. I'm going to add into this from left to right. So if in my line I have a multiplication problem followed by a division problem, I'll do the multiplication first, then the division. If I have a division problem followed by a multiplication problem, I would do the division first, followed by the multiplication. I'm going to look at the two at the same time, and I'm going to go left to right to do those. Okay, I know you know this. What do A and S stand for? I hope you said addition and subtraction. And again, I'm writing those two letters kind of funny. I'm writing them on the same line because just like multiplication and division, I do them in order from left to right. My order of operations says the first thing I should always do, any parentheses. Then I should look for any exponents. And again, we're not going to worry about those right now. Those will come back later in the class. Then I do any multiplication or division problems that I see, and I do those in order from left to right. Finally, I should be left with just addition and subtraction problems, and I'm going to go do those in order from left to right. I have 6 examples I'm going to show you, and then you're going to do a little bit of practice. If you have not finished copying down everything in that box, make sure you pause the video to get those copied down. Let's take a look. Let's do 5 plus 6 divided by 3. 5 plus 6 divided by 3. Now, I have a question for you. Well, first of all, when we do this, we're certainly not just going to say that the answer is 22 or something like that. We need to show all of our work. And when we show our work, we need to do one step at a time. So I'll show you exactly what that's going to look like in just a moment. My first question for you, what are we going to do first? I see a 5 plus 6, and I see a 6 divided by 3. What's going to come first? Well, let's see. According to our order of operations, I do parentheses first, but I don't have any parentheses here, so I'm going to skip that step. No exponents. We're not going to have exponents. MD, multiplication division comes next, so hopefully you said we should go and do that division problem. I'm going to go do 6 divided by 3, and if you don't remember what that is, well, take out your handy-dandy calculator. 6 divided by 3, oh good, it's 2. And I'm going to rewrite my problem now as 5 plus, what is 6 divided by 3? 2. Oh, you go finish that off. I bet you can finish this off and tell me what the answer is. 5 plus 2 should just give you 7. If you do need a little help, though, with any of the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, definitely use a calculator. We're going to use calculators for almost everything we see in this class. So you're perfectly welcome to use your calculator. If you don't have your calculator with you right now, you might actually want to go pause the video and go dig it out and make sure you bring it to class when I see you for the first time later on this week. Let's do a tougher problem now. I have 5 plus 3 times 4 minus 2. And I see 3 things I could do first. I could do 5 plus 3. I could do 3 times 4. By the way, I know you've seen that little dot before, but that little dot just means multiplication times. We don't usually use an X to show multiplication anymore because we're going to see very soon when we start solving equations, X is usually a variable in our equation, and I don't want to confuse multiplication with variables, so I'm usually going to use a dot to show multiplication. And then I have 4 minus 2. I would like you to tell me the first problem I should do. Should I do 5 plus 3, 3 times 4, or 4 minus 2? Well, okay, let's see. Parentheses, no parentheses. I'm not going to bother with that. Exponents, none of those. But I do have some multiplication or division. Actually, I have a multiplication problem over here. So that's the first thing I should do. And I'm going to say 5 plus, what is 3 times 4? Hopefully you said 3 times 4 was 12. 5 plus 12 minus 2. Now I'm just left with addition and subtraction. Well, what should I do next? Should I do the 5 plus 12, or should I do the 12 minus 2? Because when we have addition and subtraction, we go in order from left to right, I need to do 5 plus 12 as my next problem. So, okay, what is 5 plus 12? Hopefully you said 17. 17 minus 2, go finish that off and type in your answer. 15 minus 2, your final answer. 17 minus 2, your final answer. Hopefully you said 15. This is the amount of work I need to see. I need to see all the steps of your work. In the homework, if you just give me an answer of 15, I'm not going to be able to give you credit for this problem. I need to see where that's coming from, and your work is explaining where it's coming from. Okay, let's try another one. Number 3. Let's do 5 times 3 plus 4 divided by 2. Okay, I see 3 different options. I could do 5 times 3, I could do 3 plus 4, I could do 4 divided by 2. Please tell me what we're going to do first. Well, no parentheses, no exponents, multiplication and division. So I need to do multiplication and division first. I've got a multiplication problem here. I've got a division problem here. I need to go from left to right. So because the multiplication problem happens first to the left, I'm going to go do that first. You need to go tell me what 5 times 3 is. Please do that. Well, let's see. 5 times 3, that should give you 15. 15 plus 4 divided by 2. Okay, we said we were doing multiplication and division before we deal with our addition, so I think next I need to go do that division problem over there. Please go tell me what 4 divided by 2 is. 4 divided by 2 should give you 2. Our new problem is 15 plus 2. Finish it off and send in your answer. Should be ending this problem with 17. Well, time to make these harder. 7 plus 3 parentheses 8 divided by 4. Well, I'll give you a moment to copy down. 7 plus 3 parentheses 8 divided by 4. According to PEMDAS, parentheses need to happen first, which means you need to go and do this problem over here, the problem that's in the parentheses. Now, I realize that last year some of you might have done something with the 3, might have done like 3 times this and 3 times that. Yeah, that's something called distributing, and we're going to deal with that later in the year, but we don't need that over here. When we're doing our order of operations, we don't need anything fancy like that. Please take a moment and go do 8 divided by 4. I hope you said that the answer was 2, so I'm going to get 7 plus 3 parentheses 2. Next, if I have a number written right next to the parentheses, what does 3 parentheses 2 mean? I actually need to do. Do you know what this means? If no, that's okay. But if you do, submit your answer. Well, if you have a number written next to parentheses, that means multiply. Which means I now have the problem 7 plus 3 times 2. If you want, I suppose you could write it as 7 plus 3 times 2, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this. So my question for you now is, what should I do next? Should I do the addition, 7 plus 3, or should I do the 3 times 2? Well, order of operations says multiplication happens before addition, so I'm going to go do 3 times 2, and I'm going to get 6. And finishing this problem off, what's the answer? Hopefully, you got 13. 2 more. Number 5, we have 21 plus 15. All over, we're going to make a fraction here, but don't worry, all over 3 plus 6. So first of all, a fraction is just a fancy way of saying, actually, what is it? A fraction means you do what sort of operation? Fraction means division. However, there's a little bit more to it than that. We don't actually see any parentheses here, but a fraction bar like this is sort of like putting parentheses around the top and parentheses around the bottom. And all that I mean by that is I need to do my problem on the top and do my problem on the bottom before I go to do my division. So let's go do this. Let's do the addition on the top. Okay, 21 plus 15, you go tell me what that is. 21 plus 15 should give me 36. And 3 plus 6, you go tell me what that is. Hopefully you said 3 plus 6 is 9. Well, now we're left with that division problem we need to go do. Go do the division, 36 divided by 9. And if you're not great with division, take out again your calculator and let's go do it. 36 divided by 9, go do it. 36 divided by 9, I think I know what it is, but I'm going to check just to be sure. I think it's going to be 4. Oh, good. My calculator's telling me 4. Your answer here is 4. Fractions just really mean division. Okay, one more in the notes, and I think I need to make this as tough as I possibly can. I'm going to say 2, then a bracket, 5 minus, parentheses, 4 plus 2, close the parentheses, divide by 3, close the bracket. Wow, there's a lot going on here. Take a moment and copy that one down. 2, and then a bracket, 5 minus, in parentheses, 4 plus 2, divided by 3. Okay, well, first of all, the bracket is really just like parentheses, but it's a bracket rather than just regular parentheses, so I can sort of show you these are one set, and these are one set of parentheses. We need to start in the innermost set of parentheses, which means the very first problem I have to do is 4 plus 2. Go tell me 4 plus 2. That's easy. 4 plus 2, that should give you 2. Now I have the problem 5. Whoa, I just said 4 plus 2 gives you 2. I hope you didn't say 4 plus 2 gives you 2. I hope you said 4 plus 2 gives you 6. Which means I should have this problem. Okay, now we're going to deal with what's inside our parentheses. What are you going to do next? 5 minus 6 or 6 divided by 3? Hopefully you said 6 divided by 3 is the next thing we're going to do. Go do 6 divided by 3. That's going to give us 2 times 5 minus 2. You know what? I think you can finish this off. Go do those last 2 steps and see what you can get. Okay, let's see. This is 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 is just going to give me 6. I realize in your notes there's another page, the other page for section 1.1, where we're going to do some evaluating expressions, but I think we're going to hold off on that till the next video, and you're going to have a chance to do some practice with order of operations.